Feel the power.
Oh, I could feel it.
Our moment of triumph approaches. It's
GrokTALK.
This is a coalition of New Hampshire taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is the repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
Welcome to GrokTALK. Here's your September 12th, 2015 Is It Really News Read. Last week we reported that Governor Rick Perry, New Hampshire campaign team, had jumped ship in pursuit of other political dinghies on which to cling. 6 days hence, speaking to the Eagle Forum in Missouri on September 11th, Perry announced that he is dropping his bid to be the Republican standard bearer in the 2016 political reality show, otherwise known as a presidential election. "We have a tremendous field, the best in a generation," Perry said, "so I step aside, knowing our party is in good hands. And as long as we listen to the grassroots, the cause of conservatism will be too. I share this news with no regrets. It has been a privilege and an honor to travel this country, to speak with the American people about their hopes and dreams, to see a sense of optimism prevalent despite a season of cynical politics." Perry's move opens up the Texas primary to another Texan, Senator Ted Cruz, who stands to gain the most from Perry departure. I bet that rustles the RNC's jimmies. Seacoast Republican Women's 16th Annual Chili Fest is today, September 12th, from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Scammon Farm, 69 Portsmouth Avenue in Stratham, New Hampshire. The event is open to the public, and admission is $10 per person or $25 per family. Presidential aspirants Carly Fiorina, John Kasich, and George Pataki are expected to attend. Interviews with Fiorina and Pataki can be found in the GrokTALK archives. NHGOP Chairman person Jennifer Horn will also be in attendance. I'm not sure if this is a bug or a feature, but former New Hampshire Governor John Sununu will also be available from 2:30 to 3:30, autographing copies of his book, How I Harpooned the First Bush Presidency. Oh, wait, that's not it. How I Screwed the Libertarians Over in the 2012 GOP Convention. Oh, that's not it either. How I Put New Hampshire on the Road to Becoming Massachusetts. I guess I don't know the title. He'll be there signing a book if that interests you. Just don't sign anything from him if he asks, and you should be fine. Last week on the program, we spoke with New Hampshire resident Max Ledoux, who joined us to discuss Governor Maggie Hassan and her inability to answer a question. Have you seen the recent Planned Parenthood videos released by the Center for Medical Progress? The yes or no question proved to be beyond the ability of the governor or her handlers to answer. New Hampshire Governor Maggie Hassan collects campaign donations from Planned Parenthood and has refused to investigate the organization. After a series of unfruitful exchanges with the governor's office, Max has issued a detailed right-to-know request asking for any and all communications from or to her office related to the governor and Planned Parenthood, including mentions of Center for Medical Progress, Max himself, Councilor Chris Sununu, fundraising related to Executive Councilor Chris Sununu's vote to stop taxpayer funding of 2 Planned Parenthood clinics in New Hampshire, and so on. We'll be posting the right-to-know request at GraniteRock.com sometime today, so you can read the fine print for yourselves. I'd also like to remind you that on September 21st, 40 Days for Life kicks off, and that's it for the news read. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just about a minute to start the program.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested, riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at GerardAtLarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
GrokTALK comes to you live almost every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GraniteGrok.com. You can also listen live at Spreaker.com. If you missed a live show, catch up with the podcast at GraniteGrok.com, Spreaker.com, on Stitcher Radio, at iTunes, TuneIn, or iHeartRadio, and now on The Rock, New Hampshire's Christian radio station, TheRockNHCR.com. GrokTALK is a mobile-ready broadcast, so you can listen anywhere, anytime on your PC, laptop, tablet, or smartphone.
GrokTALK.
3, 2, 1.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of GrokTALK, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GraniteGrok.com. We are your feared, extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GraniteGrok.com.
Welcome to GrokTALK. Oh, I can turn your microphone back up now.
Hit me again.
Hit you again.
I feel better.
Welcome to GrokTALK. Welcome. We
you guys are into weird stuff this week.
Yeah, not enough caffeine, I guess. Today on the program, we welcome Gerard at Large, humble host Rich Gerard. He's going to talk to us about his race for the Manchester Board of School Committee, School of Board Committee, or however they say it over there.
School board.
It's not the school board, it's the Board of School Committee or something like that. Anyway. Shona Holmes, the healthcare refugee from Canada, will be back. She was on the show in April 2014. She's got another article out there in the world, and we're going to have a chat about the state of Canadian healthcare and its the promise that Obamacare provides in regard to that. And we're also going to go over some veto override day bills coming up. Veto override day is the 16th, is it? Coming up Wednesday,
Sounds
I think.
about right,
This coming Wednesday. And our current legislative consultant, Max Abramson's going to drop in, and we're going to go over those bills. I think he said there was 6 of them.
Excellent.
So, we have that, and we have lots of other
Time
things.
for more cartoons of Haggy Masson?
Sure. All right, and but to start the show, here we are, live on Spreaker and Ustream. You can, of course, listen to this later again and over, and all our other shows on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio. We are, as I said, on YouTube and Ustream, and there's always links on Facebook and Twitter. So welcome to the show. Gentlemen, Skip Murphy is with me, and Mike Rogers. I'm Steve McDonald, and we are GrokTALK, and we wanted to start the show with the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, of which there are many. So we're going to begin. Pick one, and we'll go from there.
Let's pick the bids. I say the Republican Party's choice once again to declare that it's winning by losing.
Oh, that's a very good one. Explain.
Certainly. Well, I think it was Thursday that the actual vote or failure to vote occurred, where McConnell couldn't even round up enough anti-Iran deal votes to break the filibuster to have an actual up or down vote on whether the Senate wished to support the Iran deal, which, by the way, there shouldn't be a vote on at all, because A, it's a treaty, and B, under the terms of the Caucus Surrender Bill, the administration is supposed to turn over the entire text of the agreement, side deals, back deals, front door deals, whispered conversations, etc., that comprise said deal, including deals with third parties like the IAEA, which is already unhappy with Iran's non-compliance. What a surprise. And that's even the people that are inclined to surrender to Iran. So there's been no text of the deal provided, but Obama demands a pro vote anyway. Meanwhile, McConnell allows this to go forward and, surprise, surprise, fails to rustle up enough votes to even bring it to the floor for a proper up or down, where it might get an initial down vote before Obama overrides it. And then on Friday, our Republican leadership says, it's a victory. It'll be a great issue to run on in 2016. Yeah,
like Obamacare.
If the Capitol has not been turned into a smoking radioactive hole by then.
And that could be a win. That
would be a win for the rest of the country.
Yeah, I mean, all right, we'd lose a lot of really nice monuments, okay?
They can be rebuilt.
It would look a lot like the video game Fallout 3, if you've never seen it. It's the greater DC area. It's pretty impressive.
Maybe we could have a new Capitol designed by an American architect this time.
And really, even though we talk about the fiasco, the Republicans have brought upon themselves. I mean, the real disaster is that, once again, the Constitution has been ruled irrelevant. And to me, we now are we see the results of hyperpartisanship, where there's fealty to your leader regardless of what your position is supposed to be. The founders believed that the only thing that would keep the Constitution together was each of the members of the three co-equal branches would fight tooth and nail for their own power and privilege. And here we see the Senate and to a large degree the House as well have given that power up to the executive branch, even as they campaign that we have to stop this imperial presidency. Well, when you give up the power of the purse, when you give up the power of impeachment, the two main tools given to you by the founders, well, then you get what you deserve, although I don't believe that this country deserves what we have voted for.
At this point, it has also given up advice and consent, because it just consents to all nominations regardless of advice to the contrary. And it has given up the power to approve treaties. There's simply nothing that the House and Senate ought to be controlling that they still control. We have lost our Constitution. You say hyperpartisanship. The Democrats are hyperpartisan. They will vote in lockstep with their president and their party platform, regardless of any individual power or the power of that branch of the government. The Republicans, on the other hand, are blamed for being hyperpartisanship, but they mostly just go along.
They probably all own stock in knee pad companies at this point, because they're always on their knees, basically just giving up.
Careful, I'll mention your Home Depot ad.
No. No, I mean, basically, Boehner and Mitch McConnell have decided we will not have any confrontations. We will not shut the government down. We will not do anything that they believe is going to disrupt getting the presidency in 2016. What these yahoos don't seem to understand in their Beltway bubble is that the more that they continue on this path of no opposition, those of us who voted for them because they promised to be opposition and go after these folks, we're not going to go along with this. And if they think we're all going to vote for these nitwits just because they promise stuff and that we're not watching the lack of promises fulfilled, they're absolutely nuts. Right. I, for one, will not vote for a Republican, again, that's in office that has failed to live up to their campaign promises. Not happening, folks. And I think there's... Yeah.
Are you listening, Kelly and Frank?
Exactly. And I'm done with this.
And wait. If you switch that, it's Frank and Kelly.
Yeah.
Which way is sexist?
Frank and Kelly.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Do that once again.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Wait.
So
okay.
Now
that's our sound effect.
I hear that McCain and Graham are campaigning together in the state this weekend. Oh
gosh, the Botsy twins.
No, wait. I suspect, wait to prove this, they are campaigning without Kelly because roles are reversed. They think she's a drag on them.
Yeah, that's funny. We're going to take a break now because
we only did one?
That's too funny. We're going to cover the rest of them. There's 5 or 6 more. Yeah, everybody starts talking, and that's what we're here for. So stay tuned. We will be right back after this.
This is the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is the repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now, the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at gerardatlarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
Noticed I fixed the volume problem. We were just talking about it. I'm supposed to do this apparently.
No, on the other side. It makes you look so much more dignified.
Oh, like this? So you can't hear me?
We can still hear you.
Yeah, not as well though. So Welcome back to GrokTALK. Steve McDonald, Skip Murphy, Mike Rogers. Facebook and Twitter, hey, we're there. You should be too. You probably are. And if you're not, well, that's your business. But if you are there, check us out. Look for Granite Grok.
And Ustream, YouTube.
We covered those.
So we can do it again.
And again, and again. So anyway, let's get to the rest of these. Let us not opine indefinitely on any particular one. We have like 12 minutes.
Okay.
To cover the next 5 or 6 of these things.
Okay.
Give us the best of the rest, Mr. Steve.
The stupidest one is
this
is National Suicide Prevention Week. So what does the legislature in California do? They vote to legalize assisted suicide, which will add at least 1,000 suicides a year to the national toll. You can't make this stuff up. I mean,
somebody didn't check the calendar.
Somebody didn't check the calendar. You know, you're exactly right, Steve. But that's one of the stupid. It's serious, obviously.
They should have done it on National Euthanize an Old Person Week, because I'm sure they probably have one of those somewhere.
Yeah, because every day is Euthanize the Unborn Day.
The Danish probably have one of those, because don't they have assisted suicide?
Yeah, well, a number of
some Norwegian countries
do. A number of the European,
maybe.
Yeah, a number of the European countries do have that, but I think that's going to be hastened with this European refugee by Islamist youths and men versus families. That's another
I just
one.
read an article somewhere, maybe it was the Federalist, somebody was talking about how they were having second thoughts about their assisted suicide because people who got depressed, perfectly functional, productive human beings who were just having a bad couple of months, were being allowed to medically kill themselves, removing them from the economy and everything else, and that wasn't what it was intended to do, but yet that is the unintended consequence of government managing your own extermination. Like, I want to kill myself. Okay, go ahead. But that's what happens.
Yeah.
It always happens that way.
Yep. Then we have, because of our feckless Obama administration in deciding that we'll have butter instead of bombs, the U.S. Marines announced that they are now making serious studies into, how they could use foreign flag ships to deliver themselves to war zones. Because, frankly, folks, the U.S. Navy can't get it done
Is there
anymore.
an Uber for that? Wait a minute, I'll get us to transport. It's going to cost extra because it's an emergency.
Yeah.
Stick up your electronic sub-ether signaling device and thumb a ride on the passing Vogon freighter.
Passing Vogon freighter. Excellent.
Yep. So, and speaking
Don't
of
forget your towel.
Yeah. Okay. And here's the next thing with the U.S. Marines. Now, we all know that the social engineering that the socialists and social justice warriors have been doing in the U.S. over the last few years since Obama took office has been running through the military nowadays. And the military was told, you will allow women into almost everything. Well, the Marines have actually studied this quite a bit, and one of their big studies just came up. All-male ground combat units. Now, this is combat, where it really counts, folks. This is why we have a military, even though they only make up 10% of our military forces, those guys who actually chuck the spears. All-male ground combat units in the Marines were faster, more lethal, and less injured than units with mixed genders, according to a Marine Corps study that looked at integrating women into all service jobs. All-male squads, teams, and crews demonstrated higher performance levels on 69% of the tasks evaluated, 93 of 134, as compared to gender-integrated squads, teams, and crews. Secretary of the Navy Mabus excoriated the study, saying, you guys were discriminatory and had the results set up. And the headline that caught my eye was basically Mabus calls the Marine comment is, what's a few dead Marines? Well, folks, when your military purpose is to kill people and break things as fast as they can without getting killed themselves, I'm sorry, that's important news. And take the social engineeringers out. Let them try this for a while. And enough of that. And I say that as a Blue Star dad who's one of 2 sons who served in the military. One served in the Marines. So we'll go with that. And without any further ado, Clinton defenders now contend Clinton's private emails from her email server helped keep information more secure.
Everybody's going to be doing it now.
I have no comment to add to that headline.
Well, you're going to tell a story. You got to tell it right.
Yeah, it's like, anything to keep her safe. This is...
And you know what? I bet it created good-paying American jobs, too.
Well, it allowed somebody from the government who was already being paid by the government.
No, but I mean, I'll add that narrative. It created jobs.
Yeah.
It's created or saved jobs. Hillary's private server. Come on.
Everything's connected to everything else to make it look good.
Right.
Whether it is or not. But it's also endemic of our political posturing nowadays.
That's why if
where
you don't do anything
nothing
wrong,
is bad.
if you say you didn't do anything wrong and you refuse to apologize and then you apologize, you must be a Democrat. 'Cause it's okay.
Yeah. And again, we throw out the obligatory, if this had been a Republican, what would the media be doing?
But who's she trying to appeal to? Got to be Democrats or somebody, because Republicans don't buy it.
No,
Independents aren't that stupid.
No, they're not buying this either.
The Democrats are the only ones that she needs, that she's losing, and she's losing them to Sanders, and so...
Yeah, the Democrats aren't buying it either, at least not in sufficient quantities. If you look at the polls, Biden hasn't barely lifted a finger, and he's catching up on her.
Yeah, and then the socialist. Who ever thought here in the United States, in this era, that a socialist would start beating a person who used to be considered a centrist Democrat? I mean, we're in a world of hurt if a socialist takes over. It's like, why did we have 200 odd years of being Americans, and now we're going to use a foreign political philosophy?
Wow.
This is mobocracy.
It's been pretty popular for the last 100 years or so on the left.
Well,
so.
Yeah, ever since, what's his name now? Von Clausewitz was rolling up the Prussian provinces to form Germany, and he basically beat the socialists to the punch by nationalizing retirement funds and health benefits. He figured out how to wheedle
Otto von Bismarck, was it not?
Von Bismarck, yes, that's right. I'm sorry. Clausewitz was just working for Bismarck. But basically, wheedle people's money away from them to bribe them with it back. Gosh. Sounds like a lot like America nowadays. And the last one that I have is back to California. California will give free high school diplomas to kids who flunked out. Yes, sirree. There we go. That was my quick list this morning.
Which means that it's not worth hiring a California high school graduate under any circumstances, even to flip burgers, unless you test them yourself.
Or the teachers, actually. All you really need is a lunch staff to give them their 3 free squares a day.
And you don't even need that, because something I haven't posted yet. In New York, Chicago, the first fully automated restaurant. Like the old 50s automats. Well, now you type in your order, and it's cooked freshly out back, and it arrives in a thing, in a glass wall of cubicles, and when you go up, you enter in your information, the thing comes up, and you pull out your freshly cooked stuff. And pretty soon, if you get the burger machines and all that other stuff, you won't need a human at all. Thank you, $15 an hour minimum wage nitwits.
They'll have to go back to doing newspaper rounds.
Well,
that's been stolen from them too.
If you employ too many people, you don't have enough folks for your riot. So you really have to have some spare people laying around unemployed looking for something to be mad about. And so that's really what that's for.
Well, essentially, that takes away another low-end rung of the economic ladder, because I'm old enough, and you guys probably are too. You drive into a gas station, you had all these high school kids coming out, checking the tires, checking the oil, checking the wipers, checking, everything, while yet another one's actually pumping the gas. All of these kids were getting minimum wage and learning their craft. That was the way how most car guys got to be car guys. And plus I remember going to the movies.
Plus, they learn how to have a job.
Yeah, you learn to show up at work. You learn to respect those in authority. You do a good job. You take pride in your work.
Proper appearance, time management, coordinating with others, working as a team, blah, blah, blah. All those things you need to learn.
And by the way, getting tips.
And dealing with customers.
Yeah. So there was
being forced to be nice to people who aren't always nice to you. It's a good skill to have.
Someone found a Trump tweet from last September.
Yes, saw that.
That's pretty awful. Every time I speak of the haters and losers, I do so with great love and affection. They cannot help the fact that they are born effed up.
Ooh.
The winning response appears to have disappeared from the web. It was from the guy who has the handle Cuffy May, who said, "Gravitas, mother effers." See, I couldn't say the full word.
While Skip was drinking, he didn't spit it all over his keyboard. That was pretty impressive. Oh, yeah.
Which
Thank you, Mike.
let us remember again that under a lot of circumstances, Trump would not be an acceptable candidate, except he's doing something really, really important. He is drawing attention to the things that none of the political class are taking care of. And between Trump's style, like it or hate it, and the master political skills of Corey Lewandowski, the guy is absolutely crushing the field. And like I said, there are things about Trump that make me a little uneasy. But you know what? The political class, as Skip says, brought it on themselves. This is what you get for not taking care of business.
I mean, it all goes down to what I've been saying when it comes time for elections. Winning is only a precursor. It's what you do afterwards that's most important. And what we've seen lately from our Republican elected officials is that they campaign to win, and that's it. That's all they care about. And with the lack of promises kept, they've created a vacuum. And we all know that nature and politics abhor such a vacuum. And you have let him in by dint of what you haven't done, which is fulfill your promises. You haven't acted according to the philosophy that you espouse or that the party says it does. Instead, we get this fiasco, as Mike had as a WTF, concerning this real treaty that's going to have real results and that is going to have really bad things stemming from it. And Mitch McConnell standing up there, they're going to vote for us! Newsflash to Mitch McConnell and the rest of the Beltway banditos. No, we're not!
Right about now, if somebody stood up a third party that was likely to get more than about 30% of the vote, the Republicans would get zero.
If it wasn't so hard to do so, because both parties have co-joined to make it almost impossible for another party to start up, at least here in New Hampshire. Just look at well, not exactly that the Libertarians are all that well organized, but look at the hard time that they've had just to get enough votes in the right time period to be able to start a third party. Although I think that if the core conservative wing, the Liberty and Freedom wing of the party here, of the Republican Party, decided to go off on its own, and I thought a great time was when Bill O'Brien started his own caucus in the New Hampshire House. That would have been a perfect time to have start one, and they would have immediately gotten a good 30% or more of the voters here in New Hampshire. Unfortunately, that time has passed. But I think you're right, Mike. I think that there is a growing sense that there is no Democrat Party anymore. There's only socialists. And the Republican Party has now drifted to the center. And
they're the Social Democrats.
They're the Social Democrats. There is no real conservative party here in the country, and certainly not here in New Hampshire.
And notice two things. Last week I remarked when we had Corey on the phone that Trump said something that he didn't have to say, and most of the news outlets cut off.
Yep.
Not allegiance to the Republican Party, but and to the conservative principles for which it stands. How often do you hear any of the Republican leadership saying, it's about the conservative principles, folks?
Oh, I'm sorry, but
only when they're running for office.
Bingo. That's exactly right. They say it. They all declare themselves to be conservatives. I'm sorry. Lindsey Graham is not a conservative.
All right, we're going to take a break. 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 There we go. This is GrokTALK. I'm Steve McDonald here with Mike Rogers and Skip Murphy. We'll be right back to talk about, hopefully, some bills.
This is a coalition of New Hampshire taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is a repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now, at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at gerardatlarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
Grok TV.